Hey, what's going on, guys? So today we're going to be taking a look at the first in the HG Build Divers line, the Gundam Age II Magnum. While it's the first in the line, it's not exactly a new kit, considering this is just the same HG Gundam Age II, but we do have a whole bunch of new parts for this, which do make it look pretty cool. And aside from the new parts, really just the new color scheme is what kind of interests me the most. I really like the combination of the white and that dark purple color, and then the accents of the orange and the yellow look very, very nice, I must say. So it's the color scheme really was kind of like half of what drew me to this kit in the first place. The other half was probably the new head design, which is really, really nice. I really like the just small variations made to the head design in this case. Obviously, the big funnel bits added onto the shoulders are cool and interesting, and they do give it a kind of interesting look, with the big clear parts pointing up on that. Those do look cool, but really I just kind of really like how mean this new head design looks, and then just like the new front skirts also do look cool, with just the slight change to the shape of those as well. And overall, it's just a really cool looking Gundam that I think I would like probably just as well without those big huge parts on the shoulders. So I'll have to maybe take a look at that later on here in the review. We'll see. Might be pretty cool to see like a just stripped down version of this without those parts on the shoulders, and then give those to like some other kit used for a kit bash or something like that. As always, a huge thank you to USA Gundam Store for supplying this kit to me to share with you guys and review for you guys today. As always, you can check the link to their site down below. Use the coupon code there, ZakuAurelius10, save 10% on this or whatever else you want to buy from their store. You can check that out. The link is down below. Let us get a look at this guy. So first off, the accessories and things that we get included with this kit. Let's just talk about some of the extra parts. If you prefer the original front skirts, we do have those left over here in white, as well as the original part for the front of the head. The rest of the head is pretty much the same, so you can swap that if you prefer. We do have an included clear base. Thank you very much for that. That's appreciated. It's always better than nothing. On the kit there currently now I have the two holding hands for the left and the right, but then for the left hand exclusively we do have a couple of other different options, a closed fist and an open hand. Unfortunately, only have options for the left hand, whereas the right hand is probably most of the time going to be holding your beam rifle anyway, so yeah, okay, better than nothing. Speaking of, here is the Hyper Dodds Magnum rifle. It's just a modified beam rifle here with a little sticker there for the camera at the bottom, stickers here for the little dragon eyes on the top. This bit on the top can kind of like open up like so, and this bottom bit kind of slides down like that, forward and down. So this is kind of the closed mode, and then that will slide down, and you can put the handle down for holding that in the hand like so. Oh, it's a pretty cool beam rifle design. This is another aspect of the kit that did sell me on it. I do like the design of this beam rifle. I like kind of designs where the handle is kind of enclosed on the bottom as well, so similar to like the Gray's machine gun, as well as a sort of similar Gray's rifle, I guess, is a similar kind of design where it's enclosed on the bottom, kind of all around the handle. I think those do end up looking pretty cool. And then we have the Shi Guru Shield, which is not a very substantial shield, but it is very cool looking. I think it looks really nice with this really nice clear blue, kind of bluish green clear part on that, and then just a little connector piece to this. Now, we do have a second one. This is actually extra parts. It tells you only to build one, but you have all the extra parts to make a second one. The only thing you're missing is, unfortunately, a second connection piece. I don't think it'd be very hard to just scratch build another piece for that to use for the other arm. Basically, just take another part of the runner, so long as it fits in firmly in there. Glue that in there, and then the other part of the runner is sticking out. You just cut it to this square shape so that it fits in the arm. There you go. Very simple, and you could use two of these. You also have two beam saber handles and beam effect parts for those. These don't really store anywhere on the kit when not in use, so you just kind of have these sitting around. And the last thing is just this extra part you'll use for the transformation for this kit. Is not a full transformation. You do have to parts form just a little bit with this part here. Basically, this just replaces the hip part in there in the center of the legs. I think we'll just plug onto the side of here, and then this will just kind of replace that center part. So not a really big deal. Again, I always prefer parts forming over a full transformation as long as it keeps the kit more stable. Speaking of the transformation, let's do it. And well, there you have it. It's certainly not the most ugly transformation that I've ever seen. I've definitely seen a lot worse looking at you, Wing Gundam, but That said, it's not the best either. I think it's definitely helped a lot by those clear parts, the clear kind of wing tips basically kind of poking out off the sides, and then the shield part on the top as well. Definitely helps a lot with what's making this kit look cool. Of course, the rifle there making up the front part of this with the kind of like stickers there, kind of dragon eyes looking sort of thing on the front of that does also look pretty cool as well. Overall, I think it's a pretty fine transformation. Of the process of transforming it was not difficult at all, so that's certainly easy enough. You won't have any problems there in terms of loose parts either. Really, the only loose part that I've had is one of the funnels is quite loose on mine, so that's kind of annoying. I'll point that out to you guys here in just a second, but overall, transformation on this guy, I gotta say, is pretty decent. And for those of you wondering if you could use the kit in mobile suit form using that replacement part for the hips, yes you can, and it does look hilarious. But anyway, now that it's transformed back, let's talk a little bit about the articulation. The head will go up to there. It's kind of hard to get around all these parts on the top. But as you can see, we've got a sticker there for the eyes, sticker there for the little camera up in the head. Very nice. Sticker around here for the camera on the back of the head as well. Nice color separation too with this separate gray part for the top of the head. Downward movement is no problem all the way down into there. Sticker here for the little A logo there on the front as well. That is molded detail in there, so if you do want to paint that, it shouldn't be too hard to paint that detail in there. Just really nice color separation here as well with the yellow, the white, the orange, and then around here on the back as well, even with this separate gray piece for in the center of there of the backpack. Due to the transformation gimmick, we don't really have much in the way of stomach articulation there, stomach crunch or bending side to side. We can basically just rotate that at the hips, that's about it. At the shoulder, this joint will swing forward just a little bit. This whole bit on the top of the shoulder will rotate forward and back as well. And the funnels can be rotated and swung back and forth. Now I don't know why, but one of mine in particular is very loose, so this one really doesn't want to stay in position very well. The rest of them are fine, but this one I either trimmed something a little bit too much or something or other, but that's not really wanting to stay in place. Aside from that, you're able to bring the arm up more than 90 degrees, which is pretty good. And then it's just a standard rotation at the top of the arm, a nice double joint here. Be careful not to pull this part, this kind of purple part at the wrist does want to slide up and off the arm very easily. The wrist is just, of course, on a ball joint. And then on the back of the arm here, you can see where we will plug in our shield like this on there later on. Front skirts are molded together. We can snip those very easily to separate those for separate articulation. These side skirts will move up and down, of course, and then the little white fin can move forward and back. Of course, again, that's for the articulation for the transformation. The back skirt can also move up and down, which is really quite nice. And again, really nice part separation here is this yellow part in the back skirt, that's not a sticker, that's the actual separate yellow part in there, so that's pretty nice. The legs are able to be extended out all the way, no problems there. Nothing getting in the way of bringing the leg all the way up and forward as well. Nice double joint here in the knee to give you a pretty full knee bend there. No separation in the knee armor, as this is just not really a separate piece. But this little guy on the front of the lower leg will move up and down a little bit here. Ankle is able to move side to side with no issues there whatsoever. Forward and back, kind of it's a little bit hindered in the back because of these parts kind of clashing at the back of the leg, but forward, no problem there. At least you can point the toes down, so getting the nice kind of downward movement there in the toes and the feet will be no problem at all. So another thing you can do, of course, with those funnels is hand hold them. Each of them does come with a nice little handle on there. You can also unfold them out like we saw with the transformation and just kind of hold them in a few different ways. So it does give you a lot of options of what you want to do with actually hand holding weapons for this kit. We have the beam sabers, we have the funnels, which you can hand hold, we have the beam rifle, we have the shield, which isn't actually handheld, but it's connected onto the arm anyway. And then, of course, you can have the funnels actually flying around. Now, that's the cool thing about this kit is that it does include a stand. That's better than nothing, but as I said, your best option is going to be having a base that has multiple arms, so you're able to display the funnels kind of flying out on their own. You can just connect those onto just the different option arm pieces on the base, whether the new action base 4 or 5, as well as the special version of that, the special build divers version of the action base 5 is coming out in the very near future as well, and that will have the same kind of multiple arm pieces. So you'll at least be able to connect one of those funnels onto an extra little display piece for having it kind of flying around. If you wanted to display more than that, you're going to have to get a couple of those bases or just make your own kind of funnel effect stand parts. Again, it's really not any more complicated than just using a piece of runner. Just cut a long piece of runner, just kind of trim off the kind of nubs and things on that, and just kind of sand that down so it's a nice smooth rod, and then just use your hairdryer to melt it to the correct form and shape that you need. It's pretty simple. In terms of the normal negative points we usually associate with high-grade kits being a lot of seam lines and or a lot of stickers, this kit is pretty minimal on the stickers, really. It's mostly just the eyes and cameras. That's pretty much it. I'm sure you could go in and paint in a couple of like small little color apps here and there, but overall pretty much everything's here, which is nice. And as I mentioned a couple times before, the color separation on this kit is actually quite good. I do want to say that. And the articulation is also quite good as well for an HG, so that's also good. That's something that I've experienced with most of the, pretty much all of the HG age kits that I've built have all been pretty awesome in terms of their articulation. The last thing though is of course about the seam lines, and overall this kit is quite good in the way of seam lines as well. There's really not a whole lot there. I think probably the worst ones are going to be the ones on the funnels. Those are of course just sandwich parts there to keep your clear parts inside, and there's a couple things you could do with that. Probably what I'll do is just turn that seam line into a panel line would probably be the easiest way. That way I don't have to worry about masking my clear parts, and it's just very simple and easy. I think it's really not going to make that big of a difference. So all in all, I gotta say this is a fantastic start to the line so far. Once again, it is just a rehash of an old kit, so I can't give it too much credit as being like one of the best kits of the year, considering it's mostly just the Age 2 Gundam again, but it is a very nice kit. It's got a really nice part separation, really nice articulation, really nice array of different weapons and accessories that you got with the kit, and just overall looks very nice. It's nicely detailed, and I think the colors are really cool. They may not be for you, may not be to your personal taste. They're definitely pretty strong colors and might not appeal to everyone, but I do think they look pretty nice. So oh, and of course we can't forget the transformation, which is also pretty nice. And I gotta say, this does bode well for the rest of the series. I mean, I do have pretty high hopes, high expectations for the rest of the series. But then again, Bandai has been doing this already for a few years with the Build Fighters line, so you gotta assume that they're getting pretty good at taking older designs and kind of revamping them. And it does seem to be that Bandai is kind of staying away from older HGs that probably wouldn't stand up very well. They seem to be kind of sticking to HGs that they can still kind of work with in 2018 and not have them being like too overly criticized. Like something like we had with the Tristan, where it was using some parts, although quite minimal, some parts from the Alex. If Bandai tried doing some Build Divers kits based on the Alex, for example, a very, very old and not very good HG kit, I think people wouldn't really want too much to do with that. So Bandai is being pretty smart in terms of which kits they're using to modify for this series, and that's good. Good for us. Means for some nice kits. And yeah, hopefully that answers any questions and concerns you guys had about this kit. Again, visit USA Gundam Store. The link is down below. If you guys do still have any other further questions or comments, feel free to leave those down below. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey! Thanks for watching, guys. Remember, if you want to check the kit out for yourself, you can head over to USA Gundam Store. Use that coupon code ZakuAurelius10. Save yourself 10%. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.